Hello everybody. This week's video is going to be a little bit different. We are very lucky to be joined by World Padel Tour number 183, Ida Jarlskog. We are going to be chatting about the paddle backhand. We're going to be talking about the two-hand versus the one-hand backhand and the backhand serve, and the technical and the tactical elements that go along with that. We're briefly going to talk about the future this year ahead for her, and then we're going to deep dive straight into the backhand. So let's get straight into the conversation. About the paddle backhand. So I've watched a couple of your videos and I've seen you use the backhand serve, you use a double hand backhand every now and then. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to be talking about today. But firstly, where are you in your paddle journey and what are your goals for this year?
So I've been playing paddle full time for 1.5 years. So I'm pretty new in the sport. And even though I haven't been playing for too long, I spent a lot of time on the court, which contributed to a quick development. As of now, I'm number 4 in Sweden among ladies. And last year, I got to represent the country in the World Championships in Dubai, which was one of my goals. So that was nice. But for this year, I hope to reach a ranking of number 2 in Sweden, and also hope to represent Sweden again in the European Championships. And also, I'll try to be playing more men's tournaments. So actually, last year in December, I played my first one. And I think it's pretty nice because it's a different tempo, it's a different game, but it's really challenging. And I think it's definitely helping with the development of my own game.
Yeah, awesome. That's exciting. And what's your ranking now on the World Padel Tour?
I actually don't know. I
Okay.
played one tournament. I got a wild card to the main draw last year, but I wasn't really ready for it at that time. I felt like I was pretty new and it was overwhelming. Yeah, I don't know, but definitely like this year I'm gonna try to be playing a little bit of the World Padel Tour and hopefully get into maybe top 300, top 200.
Awesome. Good luck. And so now to the backhand. Why have you chosen the two-handed backhand? Do you always use it? Yeah, tell me a little bit about your backhand.
Yeah, so in tennis, I competed since I was 8 years old till 2 years back. And my backhand was my best shot by far. And since it was my best shot, I wanted to implement it into paddle because I thought that why should I take away my strength? I should use it. And I've been hitting backhand since I was a little child, so I'm confident in it. So yeah, my backhand, it comes naturally for me. And like I said, I've hit thousands of backhands. So yeah, confidence is important. And yeah, I believe I have a better, I manage the ball better. Like I can control the ball better and the pace as well with two-handed instead of like starting all over trying to learn a one-handed.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why you wouldn't really choose a single-handed backhand.
Yeah. No, I thought that obviously like I could have tried to, but I felt like my two-handed I'm so confident in it. So
Yeah.
I
Is that
feel like
on?
it's working as well.
Is that on every shot? Is that on like a chiquita or a lob or like a drive shot or?
So not my slice. I always been slicing with one hand. I actually seen girls slicing with two hands in tennis. They do it well, but I never did that. I always slice with one hand. So when I play and slice or my backhand volley, I usually have one hand. And then after glass, I always do one hand because you don't have the same reach. Like once you let your left hand go, I'm right-handed. I feel like I can reach the ball much better and adapt in case the bounce is unpredictable or something.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip because definitely the ball's not always there off the back or the side glass, you know, where you want it. So taking the one hand off is a great tip. And in the backhand, what would you recommend for players that are just new to paddle?
I would say that you should go with what makes you comfortable. Obviously, there are ups and downs with both. With two hands, I feel like you could be more stable and you can resist pace better, I would say. And for me, I feel like I can direct the ball better, but obviously with one hand you have a better reach, and yeah, it's easier because when you're doing your slice, maybe you do it with one hand, so like switch it up all the time, it could be hard. And obviously with one hand, it's maybe easier to get underneath the ball, like in case it's low, especially after glass. I feel like it's easier with one hand. But yeah, I definitely think you should do whatever that makes you comfortable.
Okay, that's great advice. And while I was in Denmark towards the end of last year, I saw a lot of the top men were playing with two hands, and you said you played, you know, World Padel Tour tournament and at the highest level in Sweden, which is one of the best paddle countries in the world at the moment. So yeah, what is your view on at the highest level? Is it you know, single hand, double hand? Yeah.
I would definitely say like it depends on their background. A lot of players, especially on the women's side, I experienced that they come from tennis, and many of the women have two-handed backhand in tennis. So then they maybe use it in paddle as well. But the ones that maybe been playing paddle since they were young, they maybe use one hand. Because I think when you're young and like start playing paddle, that's what the trainers are like teaching you, like to play with one hand, because I think it's more traditional. Yeah. So yeah, I think definitely depends on the background, but it's interesting because I've also seen men hitting with two hands, especially in Sweden. I don't think I've seen that many hitting on the World Padel Tour, but they also have a tennis background. So, but I never see anyone hit two hands off the glass. It's always before the glass, which is important to highlight.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. And then the backhand serve, do you use it from the right? Do you use it from the left? Both sides? What's your tip for a backhand serve?
Yeah, so my backhand serve is a little bit maybe odd, you would say. Yes, so I just felt like when I came from tennis to paddle, I don't know, everyone's just hitting the serve in, like not doing anything. And I thought in tennis, you have so many strategies. It's like, okay, which spin should I hit with, which pace, which placement. But when you came to paddle, everyone's like it's just a way of starting the point. But I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So for me, it was all about like finding variation and like do something unexpected. So the opponent, they don't know what to anticipate. So I actually saw Sophia Arvidsson. That's actually my partner for this year in the Swedish Padel Tour. She hit backhand, like she just tossed the ball to herself and she hit a double-handed backhand. I was like, that looks fun. Like, I think I could do that.
And your backhand's so good.
Exactly. I'm confident in it. So I tried, and it just went really well. And when you play like training matches and stuff, you can kind of feel how your opponents are responding to the serve. And I really experienced that people were struggling. They were like not used to like a two-handed backhand with topspin and like with a high pace. So yeah, I started implementing it to my game, like something to use as variation. So I try sometimes to like toss the ball, sometimes I slice, sometimes I hit a topspin backhand. And I try to kind of shadow it a little bit so you can't see really what I'm doing. And yeah, I think people are just really surprised when it's coming because it's topspin on it. And usually you say you want to hit a slice when someone is letting it go like after glass, because otherwise, you know, the rebounds is going to be pretty high so you can attack. But I mean, when it comes so fast and you're expecting something like slower and lower off the glass, then it's hard to, I don't know, do the right thing. It's like just an instinct that's gonna, make you do something maybe wrong.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a word I use a lot, is variation. So important on the paddle court. So that's awesome to hear from you at the highest level. So yeah, thanks so much for your time. I think that's some really good insights into the paddle backhand. Where can people reach you? Do you want to mention your sponsors maybe? And yeah.
Yeah, of course. So you can reach me on Instagram. So my Instagram is Jarlskog, just one straight name. And also my sponsors for the 2 coming years are Schlesinger Padel, and also Eurofinance. And obviously I'm playing for PDL United. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Cool. Well, yeah, good luck for the year. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
How cool was that? Being able to hear from somebody at the top level of the sport is so cool. We were focusing on the backhand, and Ida's using 2 hands to absorb speed, but also to add speed to the shots. And her advice of using 1 hand off the glass, I think, was very, very good tip. Her tip about variation as well, mainly on the serve, is huge. I love the word variation. I think if you start playing a monotonous game, the players get better at reading it, get better at defending it, and will probably end up beating you. Thanks so much, Ida, for joining us. Again, please like and subscribe if this is adding value to your paddle game, and I hope to see you on court soon. Ciao.